Hey everyone. So I just got home from a 12.5 hour day at work. Um, I talked to some students today about what I'm doing over this video blog, and one of them recommended that he actually thought that I wore makeup regularly. I guess my skin looks okay. And one other student thought that I wore eyeshadow regularly, which was a little surprising to me. So one of the students did recommend that I go for a more dramatic look, maybe starting the second week. And I was just wondering if you all had any thoughts on how I could make that happen. I did mention to him eyeliner, and I don't know how to use that, so I have to practice maybe this weekend. Um, he did recommend going to matte, um, so we'll see if I decide to do that. And um, what else? Oh, yeah, and I know that just makes me think about when I went to um, the makeup department the other day and I bought my makeup. I actually bought Bare Minerals because I didn't want to mess up my skin, at least not as much as other makeup. Um, the woman at the sales desk asked me, "Oh, what kind of blush do you use?" And that's after I had told her I don't wear makeup. And she was like, "What kind of blush do you use?" And I was like, "I didn't know there were different types." Like I said, I don't wear any ever. So I think that's going to be a new challenge for me is to learn how to use makeup and the different types. And so the student just suggested that I do more dramatic looks so that people actually notice more because I guess right now it might not be as noticeable as I wanted it to be. And maybe that'll work a little different with people's responses or maybe my own comfortability. Um, and I was talking to a friend the other day about attractiveness and whether or not I am. They didn't really respond, but they did share it's important for me to showcase what I feel is my best attractive self, and that's including if I even want to do that. So, you know, I don't know what that means for me. Today I looked in the mirror after I used the restroom at work and I was like, whoa, I look feminine and I look nice. Um, and I don't know, it was just weird because I think today was to the point to where I didn't feel the makeup on my face really, like at all. Like it felt okay, maybe because it's Bare Minerals, I don't know. But I wasn't as conscious as I have been the past few days about it. And I just stopped and looked at myself and I was like, wow, you know, this is how I look, and people probably are going to take me more seriously, like I mentioned before. I don't know if they do or not, but it's making me wonder if I should or shouldn't conform to social standards because, I have multiple oppressed identities, and so perhaps the way I can more legitimize myself, maybe the more legitimate I can be seen by others, um, versus if I don't necessarily conform to what's expected of being professional. Because, when I was younger, as a Chicana growing up, my family talked to me about what does that mean and where can there be barriers potentially for me being a woman and a woman of color, and how I know that I code switch, whether that's in my dialogue, um, the way that I communicate and even the way that I present myself. And my mom always taught me to present my best self all the time so that people know that I'm taking things seriously. And and I think that comes from maybe other cultures of where you're an oppressed identity and what does that mean to be professional? Like doing your makeup or doing your hair or wearing certain earrings. Like even today, I even thought twice about wearing hoop earrings because it made me think of when I was in high school or the, stereotype associated with Latino women and the way that they look. And so I even hesitated wearing these, but I just couldn't find my other earrings that I usually wear. And so it's a part of it, and talking about microaggressions with colleagues, that can be a part of it, is the way one presents themselves, um, and what's comfortable for them. But then, what if somebody finds it unprofessional? Um, so yeah, so I guess I'm wondering what does professional mean to who, and when is it important or not important? to follow that dynamic and however you define it. And a lot of people say higher ed, working in higher ed is very liberal and you could kind of express yourself the way you want to. And I think that's true in some cases. I think maybe now that I'm more in an entry level position, but when I work my way up, as I feel like it is with maybe for a lot of self-identified women in a lot of industries, the higher you go, the more you're going to have to almost prove yourself, especially if you're a woman of color, especially if you're queer. And what does that look like? So I think those are things that I was thinking about just when I looked in the mirror myself. I didn't have any specific reactions from anyone today besides suggestions about how I can make myself look like I'm wearing makeup more. um, but yeah, so I don't know. Just thinking about that. And I remember, one of my mentors from my grad program told me if we don't wear makeup on a regular basis, we shouldn't be wearing it to an interview or to a conference even, because that's not how you're going to look on the daily job. And wouldn't you rather have somebody um, accept you for how you present your gender expression every day at work than not? Maybe the same with being out or not. I wouldn't want to work for an organization that didn't want me to be out and wanted me to be closeted per se. So if somebody had a problem with that, then I wouldn't want to work for them anyways. So I think it's just something to think about. Um, code switching, and also how do you define professional? And I think that's something that I think about more so because I'm first generation, at a university, having gotten my bachelor's degree, and also in my family. My family doesn't have people in professional, you know, positions in an industry or anything like that. I'm like the first one, and to get my master's and everything. So it's a challenging situation because you have to sometimes negotiate with yourself. How do you want to express yourself and why? And who are you answering to? And how do you feel about that? So those are my thoughts for today. Other than that, this weekend I'm going to be in a lot of social situations, so I'm going to kind of see how I feel about that, whether I increase my femness or not. Um, and yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I hope you all enjoyed meeting Seneca yesterday. um, but if you all have any tips on makeup and how to make it look a little more maybe overt, or I know one of my former students from Swarthmore shared with me a link for makeup and how to show your gender expression through it. I might take a look at that and take some tips. So thanks everyone, and I hope you have a good night.